Hi, Libras. That's who's next. Air. Libra, the breeze, the cardinal air. Harmony, the scales, the justice card. Maybe I'll get those. I have these little ones. Maybe I'll go back to using those. I used to practice for a while with the original deck. That fits a little better on the table. Not so squished. So Libra is the energy that you are working with in the present is the 10 of Wands, fire energy with Leo season going on right now, reaching the end of some sort of a major project or journey that you've been on, some sort of passionate project or project that has required a lot of your passion, and getting to the top of that hill, you're almost to the town with your big bundle of sticks. And so you are reaching the end of a very of a journey that maybe has felt heavy, and that could be in the real world or a spiritual sense or with relationships or something, but reaching the end of a hard journey. In the challenge energy, you have the 8 of Swords in the reverse. Swords, air energy for Libra. This is a card that signifies that you are understanding that you are not stuck in a situation and you can get out of a feeling of being trapped. And so that could feel like a challenging energy if you're not necessarily ready to get out of the mind frame that you might be stuck. So you're reaching the end of a major journey, and a challenge in that is that you are realizing that you're not really stuck in any sort of situation if you previously thought that you were. In the recent past, you have the moon energy here. It's a Cancer moon right now. This is really like a Pisces card, but it's water energy, and Cancer is domiciled in Mother Moon. So still related to Cancer season. This is about fear and anxiety, and in a mysterious way, realizing that there are just like things that you're not going to fully know that are going on around you in some sort of divine major sense. This is a major arcana card. So moving out of this time of a fearful, anxious energy, getting in touch with the intuitive side of the mystery of life. Oh, I never realized, right, not recently, that there's a lobster here in the moon card, and I see sort of really Cancer as sort of more of the crustacean, and so it is a Cancer moon right now. And so coming out of a feeling of, major anxiety or fear, just not necessarily knowing what's going on around things, but allowing that fear and anxiety to hang around, and understanding that maybe there might be some sort of purpose to it, and now reaching the end of a major journey. And in the near future, you have the Magician in the reverse, air, and really the Magician is all energy, but sometimes thought of as air energy. So the Magician in reverse can be about feeling a lack of energy, having trouble making dreams become a reality. There can be like a manipulative energy to the Magician in the reverse. And sometimes, maybe that could be associated with Libra in some sense, just because Libras really often like to be liked, and so they can kind of, a lot of different signs can chameleon, but they can chameleon towards, making sure that whoever they're around likes them more than that they're showing their selves. But this could not be about that. It could just be about having trouble making, the dream a reality. In the above energy, major arcana card of the death card, Scorpio, more water energy here with the Cancer moon. This is about inner transformation. So in your conscious energy, you are going through some sort of a major transformation, maybe having come out of this mysterious period of fear and anxiety, finishing up some sort of a major journey that you're taking. You are allowing that transformative energy to take you and to allow you to get to the next step. in your subconscious energy is the Emperor card in the reverse. So maybe either you are feeling controlled or you are being controlling, but you're feeling some sense of having like this masculine, powerful energy kind of stop you in your tracks more than support you in the world. And maybe that has to do with this near future energy of the Magician in reverse, lacking energy, having trouble making your dreams become a reality, maybe because you're feeling like controlled. And air does really, no one wants to feel controlled, but like the air just like flits and floats around, and the air does not really want to be controlled. So maybe you are feeling, maybe that's why it's difficult right now to, the challenge being that these Eight of Swords in reverse, realizing that you're not trapped, because you are still sort of feeling like something is controlling you in a way that's maybe holding you back from this more like transformative experience, possibly. The advice right now is the Seven of Pentacles. So just looking to see what you have already planted and what you have, the seeds you have sowed, and what will come of that. So you have already put in like a good amount of work towards your resources, towards your career, and the advice right now is to just continue to let things grow. You don't necessarily need to like do a lot in that regard. The energy surrounding you is the Nine of Cups, water energy with the Cancer moon. This is about like wish fulfillment and gotta work on the ums. Messy. This is about wish fulfillment and getting the things that you want. So the energy surrounding you is that you are being sort of handed this, the Death card, the Scorpio card, you're being handed, and in the recent past, the Moon, more water energy, you're being handed that intuitive sense to get the things that you want. So that's nice to have wish fulfillment surrounding you. Kind of being like a sense of like pride and like being glad about it, but this person also has like their hands kind of crossed in front of them, so maybe not fully taking advantage of that wish fulfillment yet, but like being like, hey, look at me, look at these 9 cups I have, that's great. A challenge right now is the Knight of Swords in the reverse, so maybe like feeling like, or being worried about a concern that you might have is being like too brash and too brusque. And with the Justice card, the scales being Libra, really wanting to balance things out all the time. I think that's sometimes what Libras are afraid of, because I would imagine that Libras see people around them, wiling out sometimes, and it seems probably much better to just make the people around you happy and just balance everything out and make everything harmony, and not want to be brash with that, with the truth and the honesty that is the air with that swords energy. So a fear of being like wanting to, do what you need to do. You need to, show people who you are, get things done, and that is a weighing of decisions of how you'll do that. And so maybe just a hope here that you won't be too like scattered or too brusque with the way that like you're communicating your ideas and communicating with other people as you go through this transformative experience. An outcome of this is another major arcana card, the Hanged Man. So this is about developing new perspectives. Sometimes it's just about kind of like waiting and seeing, which is interesting because the advice is to wait and see on your resources. Your wish fulfillment is here, but this guy's kind of like waiting and seeing like what's happening with that cup energy. And this is another major arcana in the water. You have a lot of major arcana with water, intuitive, nurturing, water taking the shape of whatever's around it, which is sort of like Libra, breeze energy anyway. But developing new perspectives around things is what you're working towards. But this card is associated with Pisces because it's associated with Neptune. And sort of like dreams and delusions and illusions and addiction can be a Neptune archetype. But this is really about developing new perspectives about things in a divinely guided kind of a sense. So a lot of major arcana water energy for the Cancer moon, which I think is really lovely. And I really mostly Libra's reads always do tend to be, it's never too much of any one thing, which is so beautiful because it is a very balanced, very balanced kind of energy. We're just kind of seeing how things go and allowing major processes to happen to get you to the next journey. and you might be like lacking a little energy in the near future, but maybe that's partially because you are just like sitting and waiting and to develop new perspectives and just kind of see how things go and letting that happen. And maybe more people need to take advice about just letting things happen sometimes. But it's hard because we're also supposed to make our lives happen like consciously, so nothing is ever so easy. But your advice is to keep, balancing those scales, see what happens, see what comes to you, and seems like doing well. You might be feeling like a little controlled and stuff, but if something's like holding you back in a sense, but just like wait and see what unfolds for you. I think it's some thought cards for Libra, please. Some thought cards for Libra, please. Wow. Okay. Anxiety, stop, and faith. So anxiety, this is just, in the recent past, you had this moon card here. And air is always going to feel a little bit of anxiety. When you're feeling anxious, it is usually because you are very worried about something that has an uncertain outcome. When this happens, we write a script in our heads, creating an outcome that is most likely far worse than the actual outcome. Try your best to stay in the present and not focus on events that haven't occurred yet. Yeah, so just like don't worry, just see how things go for now. Don't worry too much. You're coming out of that period of worry. You don't need to take it with you. Stop. This card asks you to stop and reflect, collect your thoughts, or maybe even take a break. It may also be a good time to think about what stopping might mean to you. Is it a forever stop? Is it a pause? Is it time to move forward, or simply change your direction? So there is just like a waiting energy here. So just like see how things go. You don't have to do too much right now. You have done. You can take a little bit of a break. Faith. This card isn't really about belief in a higher power, although if that is part of your practice, you are welcome to infuse it here. It's more about trusting that no matter what, things will be okay. This is an idea that's much larger than yourself or anyone else. Things are moving and shifting all the time, so just keep working toward your goal and whatever it may be, and know that the outcome will lead you exactly where you need to be. And that's what this read sort of looks like, is that you're being led where you need to be led, and you don't really need to put in much of a work or a burden right now. You might be feeling some kind of way about something, but you are just being supported in this time, so you don't have to it doesn't have to be a bunch of doing right now, which I don't know. Libra, the breeze probably doesn't. Forcing is not really what Libra does. This is too much. I'll let those stay. Fine. Broken bridge, unsuccessful outcome to a problem. June. Maybe this past June something happened that maybe led you into this journey right here. Claw, be careful, do not take risks. Now it's just time to let things be. Don't while out. Hidden secrets can harm you. So if there's something that's hidden right now that you think could be harmful and there's a way to address it, that could be something to think about. It's interesting because you got the skull with the death card here in the, in your above energy. So you're going through some sort of transformative experience. If there's some sort of secret, maybe something to at least process internally or something, figure out what that's meaning for you. But again, you don't have to do too much stuff right now. Heartache over what you no longer have. Maybe that's something to do with this feeling of control, realizing you're not stuck, but still feeling kind of controlled in some sort of situation, lacking energy. Maybe because you're feeling some sort of heartache over something that's no longer in your immediate vicinity. And fly, a period of ill health or depression. So maybe that has to do with this waiting and just seeing how it goes, and this lack of energy with the Magician card in the reverse. So maybe you're just sort of feeling a little bit down about the stuckness energy and the waiting and seeing. But now it really seems to be that the message here is to stop, is to really stop and have faith and see what comes, because you have already done a significant amount of work to get where you are supposed to be right now. So you don't necessarily have to be doing anything. Just keep doing you. Can I have moon card please for Libra? Moon card please for Libra. messy. Don't like that. I'm gonna take this one though. Take time to breathe out. So for the air, the disseminating moon, take time to breathe out. This came up for someone else in a recent read. 4, 7, 8 breathing can be really helpful and practical when you're feeling like stressed or you just don't know what to do and you need to do something. Breathing is often the answer. We breathe, the universe breathes. It's the Gemini North Node. Breath, the wind. Spiritus means the wind and breath. So breath is really like what it all comes down to. I used to not understand that, but I'm starting to understand it now. And really, if you can do nothing else, then just breathe. 4, 7, 8 breathing is inhaling for 4, holding for 7, and breathing out for 8. So on the inhale, we create space, and on the exhale, we really relax our muscles and we let it go. And it's helpful to have a double exhalation to the inhalation because that just calms down like your heart rate and your blood pressure in a little bit of a better way because you're giving yourself more relaxation time. So just taking time to breathe out. And it's not a lot of like movement energy here. But like Libras are the breeze. Things just kind of happen kind of naturally. Everyone loves the breeze. Whirling Goddess, as I talk about the breath and the wind and 30. Whirling Goddess, lose your head. Not a single thread that has a head can go through the eye of the needle. Come, my love, are you dizzy yet? If you can still find your feet, then that is okay with me, but if you can still find your head, then I will take issue. There is a great dance, but it cannot be danced with choreographed steps. No, this great dance demands a response rather than an initiation, a reaction rather than a direction. So let us disassemble and lose our heads to the great music, the rhythm held steady in our beating hearts. Our feet shall be moving whilst our minds, inadequate to the task, take the night off. So a lot of beautiful things here. The dizziness of the air. Libra, the artist. If you can find your feet, and you can find your feet, you just, came out of this moon Pisces energy here. The outcome is another Neptune card. Pisces is associated with the feet. You can find your feet, but you got to lose your head a little bit. And air signs can get a little bit lost in their head. That's why that water energy can be very helpful. Feng Shui is water wind. And so the water and the wind teach each other different lessons. And the rhythm held steady in our beating hearts, Leo season. There's somewhere you're meant to be. It is here now in this moment. There is a gift right under your nose, a fragrant wine in your glass, gleaming red as the most precious rubies. To be here now, you must pass through the keyhole. But your head will tell you that it is not possible unless the door is unlocked, even though your body is passing through the keyhole of that locked door into the endless world beyond. Like you are going through this transformative experience. You are at the point of growth where your mind can hold you back rather than urge you forward. If you have, like so many, used your mind to support you to be sure to shore up your sense of self in the world and to gain a sense of certainty about how the world works, then this is no easy leap. It will seem as though you're being asked to pass through the keyhole. Of course, your mind will stop and argue for all the reasons why the door should be opened instead of remaining closed, making the task seem so much harder than it needs to be, but that is the mind in resistance. Don't place too much stock in the claims that life should be other than what it is. You are ready, you see, sweet soul dancer. If there's an issue apparently unsolvable or unknowable in your life now, the divine is handling it. The divine is in the middle of it, working through the knot and unraveling it. Fear not, do the sacred ritual. It'll say something to the universe. Maybe I'll say it here, but I try not to use that terminology. I give my heart permission to lead this dance. I give my mind some time off, no more worry or doubt, planning or resisting. Instead I surrender, instead I open, instead I allow, and all unfolds with perfection, divine timing, and the miracle of grace. So just letting things go and developing a new perspective and just remembering to breathe. You continue to reap what you have already sown, and the divine is handling this. Sometimes in a read, like the different reads say different things, but like you're, the divine is handling it. You don't have to rush into everything. Just have faith. If you're feeling, a little bit of that residual anxiety, that's, head air stuff, and you can just know that you are sort of, you've done the work that you need to do, and you can just sort of like let it ride at this point. And there will be a little bit of anxiety there, but like continue to open up that heart chakra, open up that heart, like physically and spiritually, to the world around you, and you will be taken care of. All right. Thanks for joining, Libras.